Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Global Premier Football Show. And in today's episode, I am joined with my good friend and brother, Shakeel. And yes,
Thanks for having me,
today,
Chidi.
sorry?
Thanks for having me.
Anyway, guys, it has been an exciting weekend of football, and today we are going to discuss what happened in this weekend's fixtures. There were not a lot of games because of the event happening in the UK, and there were very good games which did not take place, which were postponed. Who knows when they will be played? But we'll look at those that happened and what happened and what we expect into after the international window. So let's just get into it. So the first thing here is that we're going to look at the top 6 teams, okay? And not all of them played. Out of the top 6, which we know, Arsenal, Manchester City, Spurs, and yeah, they were pretty much the top, part of the top 6 that played. And
Brighton have not played, and they're still in top 4.
That's unbelievable, and that tells you how much work they have been doing, since the season started. But we're waiting for them to play after their manager left.
After their manager left, that's very important. Yes.
Yeah, we have to see how they're going to fare if the same. I mean, it's one thing to have the philosophy there already embedded in the club, but also it's another thing to have the person who was implementing that philosophy right there and to be able to carry that on. But before we get to that first, let's look at the first 2 games on Friday. Like as I mentioned before, the top 6 games, the top 6 teams, only 3 out of them played, which I have mentioned before. And Chelsea did not play. Man United and which other team is in the top 6? Liverpool.
Fulham.
Oh, goodness me.
Liverpool did not play.
Yeah, Liverpool. Okay. So let's look at the first match of the weekend. We had Southampton playing at Villa Park, and then we have Fulham playing at Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest hosted Fulham. In that game, I'm very worried about Nottingham Forest. What do you think about Nottingham Forest, a team that signed 21 players, 21 new players?
Yeah, they were talking about that. They did a total revamp of the team. Well, I remember watching their one game when I think it was their first game they won, or maybe the second. And at that point, they played like a very good team. But after that, since all the games have happened, I don't remember the name of their striker who scored in that game, the first game, but his performance was really good, and it felt like they're gonna be very strong. But yeah, I haven't watched their game, a lot of games, but the last game that I watched this Friday, the goals were good, but they did not have a lot of possession. They did not look like as a good team or a great team.
So if I may ask you, Shaq, if you were a player, let's say you were in Nottingham Forest last season when they were in the championship, and you were promoted to the Premier League, you were promoted with the anticipation and with the joy that you're going to play in Premier League, and all of a sudden, the owners of the club and the manager start buying players and buy, that your position was taken over by someone else. How would that make you feel? What would you wish for the club?
So this is what happened with them. Someone else picked the team, and then they had to leave.
That's pretty much when they were in the championship last season, Shaq. And then they got promoted to the Premier League this season. And in getting promoted, they bought 21 players.
I've heard that their coach is a very good coach, tactically,
Yeah.
and a very competitive coach.
But you have seen their games. There is no chemistry in the team when you buy 21 players. The last team that did this type of thing was Fulham. And what happened to Fulham? They got relegated the same season that they when they bought a lot of players. I think that their transaction and their their business in the transfer market is not good. I don't think that's the right way to go. But
yeah, all I see is, to be honest, is Jesse Lingard, and I remember of watching that documentary, and I was like, oh, poor Jesse. He went from one club to another, and now he's in Nottingham Forest, and yeah, he struggles to play with them for sure.
He's not even starting the games. He's not even starting the games.
So he doesn't get the pass that he's looking for. He used to play for Manchester, right?
He was a Man United player. Went to West Ham, played on loan, and West Ham wanted to sign him, but Nottingham offered a better deal, and he left West Ham to go to Nottingham, and he's never starting the game. Anyway, let's not waste our time on Nottingham Forest, because we come back to see what will happen, what we think might happen to them. Fulham has been having a wonderful season. I think after it comes back again to buying what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Nottingham Forest did not buy what they need. They bought what they want or what they wanted. Fulham have bought what they need, kept some of their top players, mixed them with incoming players, and that has given them stability. And I think of all the three teams that were promoted, I think Fulham will stay.
Anyway. Yeah, looks like it because they had a really good record coming from the championship.
Yes.
Mitrovic scoring like 43 goals?
Yeah, 40-something goals last season.
Yeah. And they do play like a team. Yes, they do.
Anyway, so next game was Aston Villa Southampton. This was a game that was to put Gerrard to the test.
Yes, very close game.
I mean, let's look at Southampton. Now, Southampton, they have the youngest squad in the Premier League this season, the youngest. But also, I like the way they play football and the intensity with which they play. But I think their lack of experience in the league, when you play with a lot of young players there, you need to have some balance in your team as well, right? To be able to see out a game and so on and so forth. But I think they are struggling, though they have an experienced manager.
Yeah.
I also believe that Aston Villa were out to win that game because they have not started well in the season, and they needed something. They needed to prove a point. What do you think about their performance in that game, Aston Villa? I mean, from what we have seen from them, over the couple of games that have been played in the season.
I think I remember watching them from last year. The number, when I look at Aston Villa, I see Liverpool at the time when Gerrard used to play long balls from the sides, playing in spaces, running fast, and that's the games that they have won this season. Also they have scored many goals like that. They have improved their game year over year, and I think they're going to keep improving. Gerrard is focused. He has a lot of chemistry with players. You can see when the player goes out, and like he gives the instructions and on the sideline. But Southampton, I don't know. Southampton, I feel like they have lost good players. Not lost, that they maybe have moved to different teams, so they lack chemistry. They're going through that phase when a lot of new players comes in.
Yeah. Well, honestly speaking, I think two of them will struggle. But again, it's all about who takes advantage of every opportunity they have to score, every opportunity they have to win a game, and so on and so forth. Because it would be a dogfight for who survives. I know that Nottingham Forest are not playing. We know that Bournemouth is not doing well, but Bournemouth has changed coach, and their coach has not lost since then. But again,
Do you think they're gonna fight for relegation? I don't think so. Both of them are fine.
you mean Villa and Southampton?
Villa and Southampton.
Oh, you never know what this league can give you.
I think for sure Nottingham Forest is gonna stay low. Leicester is really bad, but let's not lose focus. But like Aston Villa, I don't think so. Everton might have a hard time, but Aston Villa last year they were fine, weren't they?
No, they were not fighting for relegation last
Yeah.
year. But what I'm saying is that, I mean, they have not really started. They have not really kickstarted their season from what we know from Aston Villa. That's what I'm trying to say. They have not really started their season. And with that, you'd expect them to struggle. I mean, if you look at the table, you'll see where they're going to. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's move on here because we still have to talk about these guys that never stop scoring goals. You know, I mean, the most exciting game of the weekend was Tottenham Leicester.
Yeah, that was the most exciting. It was a game like me watching as a neutral. It was very very fun and exciting. That's the kind of game you want to watch.
Yeah,
it's like very competitive. Like when they were 3-2, it felt like that Leicester is going to score a few more goals.
Exactly. I mean, you know, if you look at the way Leicester played, you know, they had the ball too, right? They had the ball. They played around, but it's funny how this game comes around that at their peak moment in the game was when they started conceding because they had possession. And one funny thing about having possession is that when you have possession, there's a tendency that your players are out of position at the time. And once you're caught in a counter-attack, look at all the counter-attacks from Tottenham Hotspur. I think they were the outstanding performers of this weekend's games.
Yeah, they were deadly. They were like really dangerous attacks. But also it when I look at that game, like they conceded the first goal. I think they did. And at halftime, I thought it was going to be really hard for Tottenham to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to Leicester. Maybe they have fitness problems that they start performing less. But during the first half, it was a very competitive game. It was very like even the second half, Leicester they had good chances. They missed it.
They missed their chances.
Yes.
And that's what happens when you have a lot of possession and without getting anything out of your possession. Because once you are caught out in a counter-attack with a team like Tottenham Hotspur, with Son Heung-min, with Harry Kane, with Kulusevski, or even with Richarlison, those front four, they will rip you apart at any time they catch you off guard because they sprint, they run, they work hard. Now, there was an interesting thing that happened. Son was dropped for this match. It was a surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Antonio Conte, Son was very disappointed that he was subbed. But I think, for me as a coach, I think that it is sometimes good to drop a star player. It's like a moment of reflection for them to see what maybe they have not been doing good, and they could reflect on that and be able to come back stronger. And also but it also comes again with the personality of the player. Son is not an extravagant player. He's not known to be, those troublesome type of players that if the coach drops them on the bench, that they're making trouble or making, a foot out of it. But he was calm. He has always been humble. There's no team, there's no player that would not like to have a player like Son. There's no coach that wouldn't like to have a player like Son. And that's much respect from him, for me to him, of how he carried himself throughout. And when he came on, he showed.
I mean, when I see Son is a really good player, and there is no I think I'm not taking his hat trick away from him. He scored really good goals, all of his runs, but I think he had some advantage of Leicester playing very, like,
Bad.
not bad, like they wanted goals, so they were playing a lot more in the third half. That they were pressing more in the first third half, and like they
Mhm.
were not really high on defense. Like they were not really defending. Their strategy was to go more goals.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
were open. Like the last three goals, Son had a almost like 18 yards for himself.
yeah, I agree with you. But the thing is this, like I said earlier on, right? If you have that possession and you're not getting anything, you're not even getting a corner kick, you're not even getting a goal kick from the other side, you're just losing possession and turning it over to the opposition, they will counter attack you. And once they counter attack you, your players are your teammates and the whole team is out of position. So that is what and sometimes and if you look at Antonio Conte's approach to the game whenever he plays a team that is always built on possession, when he plays against teams that are all known to have a lot of possession in the game, he sits
Mhm.
back and waits to counter attack, and that's what he did to Leicester. Now, but Son's, for me, the outstanding moment in that game was Son. Son was the outstanding guy for me. He was the man of the match. He came on and then he played. He has not been performing well. He has not been scoring goals. So
Yeah.
the game against Leicester was those are his first three goals of the season.
Hmm. I think it's still, compared to last season, this Tottenham team is way better. Like, even though they don't have Lucas Moura, um, and who left? I think the guy who went to
Bergwijn.
Bourgeois, he went to Ajax, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's a better team. Like they have been more consistent as of right now. Yeah,
yeah.
they finger crossed they start getting health problems, and then the team it does not
They
perform.
start getting health problems.
Yeah, Richarlison
Well,
scoring 2 goals in EU Champions League, so they've been good.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how they fare for the rest of the season. But I think they have a very good coach, a world class manager who can be able to manage all the egos and the emotions in a team. And
Speaking of manager, sorry to cut you, he's trying to go to Italy now. Did you hear about that? He's trying to get a contract for next year. He's going to leave end of the season.
uh-uh, no, I did not hear that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a new
He
story to
wants to
me.
go back to Italy. Yes.
Oh, anyway, we'll talk about that with the development of the story, but because that would be another thing, another
Yeah.
huge story, and that will bring Tottenham down to the dust and ashes again. That would be like taking them down. But anyway, let's focus on what happened over the weekend. So Tottenham were the outstanding performers in the weekend, and I think they have not lost this season in the Premier League yet,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they have not lost, won five, drawn two. That's
Two draws. Yeah.
an outstanding performance for them. And but again, they have a very good team, and I think everyone is working together in that team to make sure that they're a success this season. Now let's look at the next guys here, the big boys of the league, Manchester City. What do you think is going on in Manchester City? They've never, I mean, they've not stopped scoring. They create, before Haaland came in,
Mm-hmm.
they missed quite some chances. They are a good goal scoring team, a high goal scoring team. But imagine with Haaland.
Yeah. Although they did lose two players, so Sterling and Jesus.
It doesn't look like.
Eh, yeah, like even though they did, but they got Holland, and yeah, they're scoring more goals than before. Remember, you used to say last season, like they don't stop scoring, like
Yeah,
3 games, 6 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, and it's the same thing this year too.
I mean, the thing is that when at, at the beginning of the season, there was this guy that said that he doesn't believe that Haaland would deliver. But my oh my,
Oh no, he's on a different level. He's
player of the month for the
yeah,
month of August.
he's already scored. But did you know what he said, that he wants to have 5 touches and 5 goals?
Oh, wow.
He said that
He scored 11 goals in the Premier League.
already.
Six games only.
He doesn't look like 20, to be honest. I'm not saying he's not.
7 games though. 7 games.
Yeah.
11
14
goals.
11
goals in 7 games. That is unbelievable. The nearest to him got 6 goals, and that is Harry Kane and Mitrovic.
Yep.
He is he's way ahead.
Yeah, I'm just looking at so a best thing that can happen for a team is that, like, remember we talk about Liverpool and like, hey, Mo Salah has having a really hard time. So with Manchester City is like all of their forwards have scored a goal in this last game. So it's like if you score a goal, you get a lot of confidence. So everyone is very confident, fit, and is a good player. So it's like they have the best of best, and they're performing. I was actually disappointed with the Wolves performance, to be honest, because they were playing home, and I was expecting them to give a little bit of hard time. At least, like, I think after red card, the game changed. Anyways.
Agreed. Red cards make a huge difference, especially when you play against a team like Manchester City. But anyway, Wolves, Wolves did what they could do, but honestly, I think the firepower from Manchester City is on a different level.
Yeah. Do you know about Diego Costa, right?
Yeah, he's back there. He's still trying.
What do you think about him?
I mean, he's going to trouble. He'll be a trouble. He'll be a problem to a lot of defenders. He will.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think they have a good midfielder that can provide them the passes in Ruben Neves. So with that, when you have a player that can provide the passes to Costa, he is going to trouble. He's going to bully defenders. What Haaland is bullying centre backs these days. Destroying them, and if you put your head,
he's very pushy. Everything. He's very pushy.
Everything, and that is what Diego Costa brings as well. I think they're the only 2 centre forwards that play that way, that can bully defenders. Anyway, well, other teams did not play. Chelsea did not play. Manchester United's game was also postponed. Brighton's game was postponed as well. Liverpool and Chelsea were to play this weekend. It was postponed due to the events, happening over there in England.
And it was mainly because it was London, right? That's it.
Yeah, yes.
Any game not any game in London. I think there were a few games in London, no?
Yes, yeah. Brighton was to play in London, and Chelsea as well, and these are very, very top games. So policing was an issue because of the events going on there. So I think they made the right decision. So let's see what will happen when these teams come back after the international break. So now moving on here, as we come to the end of this episode here, the league standings here, we have Manchester City and Arsenal doing their job. Arsenal reclaimed their first spot, 18 points after 7 games. Manchester City second, Tottenham Hotspur is third, and Brighton, without kicking a ball, still stays fourth. Yeah. That's magnificent. Man United fifth, and Fulham sixth. Chelsea drops to seventh, and Liverpool eighth. Now, down at the bottom of the table, we have West Ham, Nottingham, Leicester City. I was checking all the news to see if there is a news of a sack for I mean, being honest,
at least West Ham or Leicester for
sure.
No,
Leicester for sure.
Yeah,
that was what I was, I've been checking the news to see that, but there's nothing there. But I think they trust their manager and they believe that he can bring them out of the situation. So we'll see. Nottingham Forest is a team that I pity with all the players that they've signed, like I said earlier on, and they're not playing football. Honestly, they're not. They're just like a bunch of stars that come together to play kickabout. That's what I think, and that's what I see. There's no specific approach, but maybe with time they can grow into, because it's all about consistency in training sessions and keeping to their, to the philosophy, to their ideas, and being able to work hard together to bring that out. What are you expecting for the next, the next one will be in 2 weeks' time. So we'll have to chill, enjoy the international break, and we'll see what happens next. So,
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No, I was gonna ask you about Chelsea. Chelsea has not played a game, and they will have. Do you think Chelsea is gonna do something? They don't. I don't think they have. They're playing. Who are they playing next? Liverpool.
That would be a rescheduled fixture. So
Oh, that's a rescheduled fixture.
Yeah, it will be a rescheduled fixture.
Crystal Palace. So did Chelsea not play Crystal Palace recently?
No.
No.
I think we have. No, we have not. No, we've not.
No.
I don't know. We'll go out there and do what we need to do. We just need to start getting 3 points. Enough of the nonsense that has happened. I'm not going to talk about the inside of Chelsea in terms of ownership and the changes that have happened in this episode. Maybe we can talk about that later. But there's one game that I am really, really excited for in the next fixture.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal, Tottenham, the North London derby.
That's the North London derby, yeah.
That is going to be a cracker of a game. And we will talk about that game. And it's not only that game, there are 2-star games on the 1st of October and the 2nd of October. The 2nd-star game is
United
the Manchester
City
derby.
Wow.
That is an exciting game to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. Man United, new manager, some different way of playing and approach to the game. Arsenal flying high. I don't know if their guns will be taken away from them, that they can shoot and fire, because Tottenham will give them a 10 test, and it's at the Emirates. But
so the way I think is, for Arsenal, it's like a test. If they can win, that's going to define. I'm not saying that they're going to go for the title, but they can stay in top 4.
Maybe stay in top 4.
Yeah,
I don't see them as title contenders. No, I don't see them as title contenders.
You don't even come close to Man City. They have a really good team, and Liverpool is a very good team as well.
Yeah,
and Chelsea have lots of good star players still, but Arsenal have young players, right? They're not. It's not like.
Just to wrap up here in this very episode, Arsenal, Tottenham, who wins for you?
I think it will be Tottenham wins the game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so.
Manchester City,
Man United.
City, of course. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you never know what the Manchester derby will bring out for you.
Yeah.
But we will see. It's going to be a good game. So I think Manchester City will win as well. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll come back in 2 weeks after the international window. So guys, that's all for us, from us to you in this episode. We invite you again to like, follow, and share with your friends on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Google Podcast. Thank you very much again for giving us your ears, and I hope you enjoy the international break. Bye for now, and see you soon.
Bye.